Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for another game of What's That Skill? With your host, Mr. Jackson. Go, Mr. Jackson! Yeah, he's the best! Yeah, it's just me. Anyways, today's skill that we're going to be focusing on is a skill of making an inference or inferring. So, what does thinking look and sound like when I make inferences? I'm going to model that for you today. So hopefully you won't be like I was the first time I heard about an inference. I screamed for 3 straight seconds. So I'm going to give you that chance right now. Go. All right. Back with me? All right, good. So I'm going to model this. So when you try to get evidence to put into your guys' portfolios, you'll be able to understand what an inference is and what it takes to make a good inference. And when we're in classes, you'll be able to explain to teachers the inferences you have, because it's a skill you use every day, and you probably don't even realize it. I'll show you what I mean. So if you look at inferences, it's when you take textual evidence right there from the text, and then you add that to your schema or your background knowledge, which is that special learning you have, those special experiences you have, all of that special information that's in your head that you already know, and you add that to what the author has in the text. Anytime you do that, you're always going to be able to create this smarter understanding of the text.
Ooh.
So now that you kind of know what this is all about, let me model for you what thinking looks and sounds like when you're making inferences. So let's first start with this funny comic strip that I have here. This is one of my favorites. Oh my goodness, let me tell you. So we're going to start with the evidence that is exactly in the text that the author included for us to notice. The first thing I notice as a thinker is you have this little boy standing on the ground trying to eat these white snowflakes. So I'm going to make sure that I jot that down in my annotations. I notice a little boy standing on the ground eating white snowflakes. So what other evidence do I notice? I also notice that there are these 2 pigeons sitting on top of a tree. And one of the pigeons is turning to the other one and saying, "Hey, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Rah!" I don't know if that's what a pigeon sounds like or not. I'm going to pretend that's what it sounds like today. And so I want to make sure that I mark down that noticing so that that stays clear in my mind, that there are 2 pigeons sitting on a branch above the boy talking. Now, I also want to make sure that I notice, and I know I said it earlier, but it's just something I want to annotate and point out. I want to notice these little white snowflakes that are falling, because I think that's an important part of what the author wants us to notice here inside of this joke. So I noticed the white snowflakes. Now, I've got these details in my mind, and I'm sure there's others you could point out too, but I think I've got enough evidence here to make the inference that I have rolling around in my mind. And I'm inferring that these pigeons are going to doo-doo. Go ahead and laugh. I said doo-doo. I said doo-doo. That's funny. All right. These pigeons are going to doo-doo into this boy's mouth. Now, why did I get that? Did the comic come out and say, "Hey, that's doo-doo in the boy's mouth"? No, it didn't. I used my background knowledge. And here's how. I know that on my car, I'm going to write this as neat as possible. It's hard to write on the screen. I know that on my car, there are white globs. And these white globs come from birds. So yes, once again, It's birds doo-doo on my car. Ah, Mr. Johnson said doo-doo again. That's 2 times now if you're keeping count. Now, I also know that whenever I said anything like, hey, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Or if I've watched movies and the movies have said, are you thinking what I'm thinking? It's usually to play some type of joke or something like that. So I know that this phrase usually means to play a joke. Okay. So when I take the phrase and I notice the birds, and I know that what the birds do, and I notice this boy's open mouth down here, the only thing that I can then infer is the birds are going to poop in the boy's mouth. There you have it. Except that time I said poop and not doo-doo. Now I said doo-doo again. There you go.